This is just like a walkthrough, right? Plumbers in Sydney. You can see here a search engine results page. We get this result that shows up number 2. You'll see here, right? What does your search query deserve? We talked about plumbers in Sydney, and we said, okay, well, that deserves locality and reviews and perhaps like, time of operation. So you can see here in the above the fold experience for that result that we saw high ranking, what are they doing? They're serving those associations very quickly to the user in the above the fold experience. So as a hypothetical example, if my toilet exploded and it was 4 in the morning, what would I do? I would Google plumber in Sydney. I'd click on this and land on the page. You'll see here it says 24/7. So I know I could call them. It says 029099. I know it's a local company. And you can see here there's a bunch of trust elements. You can trust me. You can trust me. You can even see the photos of the people. You can trust me. So by serving them these content experiences high up above the fold, then you're meeting the needs of the searcher quicker, right? And what we want to be doing in SEO. You can see here for vacuum cleaners, right? The way that this page is laid out is that it's saying, okay, well, what are the different categorizations of vacuums that you would want? Here are what we believe to be the top ones from the top brands, and we give you a nice way to filter all of the different products that we have based on what you're likely to care about. So that's then what we're saying here. Search query deserves X then, right? This helps to explain a bunch of SEO myths. You'll hear people say, yeah, you should refresh content as frequently as possible because we get SEO boosts when we do that. Well, that's because, right, topics change over time. But some topics change way faster, like coronavirus. You want to know what's happening within the last 24 hours. So if you updated your content every 24 hours or quicker, then you would continue to do well, right? Expertise, authority, and trustworthiness is a concept that has come up in SEO recently. And why that matters is because Google has been saying, okay, for certain searches like wine health benefits or diet pills, that's going to affect somebody's life. And so Google's going to look for more credibility for that particular class of search, right? That's where you're seeing video embeds deserves multimedia, local citations for locality, widgets, a tool, user-generated content. It's because people want to see trust. Backlinks, right? That's because the keyword itself deserves a strong domain authority. So to conclude this section, serve and optimize for the most relevant associations that match what the search query actually deserves, right? SEO is not a one-size-fits-all equation, but a lot of people make it into it. They say, oh, you build some backlinks, you put the keyword in the header, and you're good. But you're not, right? It's a whole bag of different concepts that somebody would care about. And what we want to be doing is understanding what are the most relevant associations that the end user wants to see and present that as quickly as possible. Why do we want to do all of that? Because at the end of the day, what Google is really looking for is search results that conclude the search journey. Let's briefly talk about what I mean by concluding a search journey. Concluding a search journey would be if I search for things to do in Istanbul, like this. Then concluding a search journey would be if I click on this result and then scrolled around and then closed out, right? Google would say, oh, okay, well, when I presented the user with that experience, then they found what they were looking for. So that was good. And Google knows that this is a legitimate user because I'm logged in and I've shown Google that I am a legitimate user, right? For example, though, what if I didn't conclude the search journey? What if I went back to Google and clicked on another result like that? And then I scrolled around here and then I closed out. Well, right, then you could imagine that if I'm finding more of what I'm looking for here on this result, then this result eventually will outperform that result based on its ability to conclude the search journey. So you have leading signals, right? Relevant backlinks, subject matter authority, click-through rates, average time on page, bounce rates. But at the end of the day, what Google wants to know is whether or not your piece of content has met the needs of the searcher. That means no additional search on Google, no additional click on another search result. So you can see back to that example of the Google Webmaster Tools, we were seated about position 25. Given 3 impressions, no clicks. You see here, Google keeps trying us over time, but because we did not receive any engagement from a click-through rate perspective, Google eventually dropped our position off of the search engine results page. So that's the leading signals. The lagging signals, and what Google is really caring about, is concluding the search journey. So here is where I can just show you via my computer instead of just looking at this. All right, so let's do an incognito search for how to get rid of pimples, like this. You'll see here, right, we get a list of search engine results back. It'll say how to get rid of pimples fast, home remedies. This looks like a everything kind of page, causes, symptoms, home treatment. You'll see here fast, stat, overnight, and fast and quick. If we're to just do fast, you'll notice that there's a lot of occurrences that we do see showing up for fast. So you'll see here, if I did a subsequent second search for how to get rid of pimples fast, like this, over here on the right, you'll see that what Google has decided to do is that it's pulling out the winners of this particular intent, fast, and having it rank over here. So you see the same result there. And then you can see this glamour is the same result there. And then you can see here, this medical news today is the same result here. So pretty much exactly the same results that you're seeing across the 2 different search engine results pages. Why has this happened? The reason why this has happened can be best demonstrated through what we see happening here. So you'll see here, someone first did how to get rid of pimples. And RankBrain, Google's algorithm update that it released maybe 7 years ago, did something like this, right? It'd say, okay, initially someone did a search for how to get rid of pimples, and the user got back a set of search results that were all how to get rid of pimples. The user likely clicked on a couple of these results and said, that's not what I want. So they went back to Google and performed a second search, how to get rid of pimples fast. The user then likely got back a set of search results, all specifically targeting that keyword. And guess what? They likely clicked on a couple of these results and said, aha, that is what I want. So that's concluding their search journey. That's the important part, right? So what Google says is, okay, if they're finding what they're looking for after they perform the search and then a subsequent second search and then clicking on this result, what would happen if I just merge that in to the search engine results page like this? The next time somebody did a search for how to get rid of pimples, they saw this as a search engine results page. They likely clicked on that and say, yeah, that is what I want, thus concluding their search journey without having to perform a second click. You can see over time then, what has happened is that you have a search engine results page that has gravitated towards intent, with the highest likelihood of concluding a search journey. You can also see here that if I look at the Google autocomplete suggestions by adding a space, you'll see here it says fast, marks, naturally, overnight, fast, overnight, naturally, right? These are very close to exactly what you're seeing ranking for the head term right over here, right? Fast, home remedies, natural ways, home remedies. So you can use Google autocomplete suggestions to inform intent. Why? Because Google autocomplete suggestions are strong indications of subsequent second searches that a user is likely to perform given the topic known as how to get rid of pimples. What you'll then see what Google is doing, right, with home remedies is that Google is pulling out then the winners of those particular intents that the user is actually finding. So you can already see through this example that we could imagine how there's like 5 results that come from how to get rid of pimples fast. There's like 1 result that's coming from how to get rid of pimples with home remedies, like that. And how you then win how to get rid of pimples is not by creating a generic title tag on how to get rid of pimples, because that is not what the user wants, right? The user is finding what they're looking for when they Google how to get rid of pimples fast or with home remedies. And what Google is doing is pulling out these top results over here and having them rank over here. So what you need to do is design the content around the intent with the highest likelihood of concluding the search journey. So that's then what this whole section is about, right? Someone does a search, how to get rid of pimples. It's worth 40,500 monthly searches, but they don't find what they're looking for. They then perform a second search, how to get rid of pimples fast. 22,200 searches, they find what they're looking for here. You can then see how to get rid of pimples is basically just the winners of how to get rid of pimples fast, because that's where the user is finding what they're looking for. You can see here another example of this happening is bone broth recipe, slow cooker bone broth. Same result ranks across the board for something that's worth 90,500 searches. This is only worth 590 monthly searches, right? So bone broth, you can see here, the way that you need to then look at this is say, okay, right, how to make, or how to make and reasons why you should, benefits or top benefits, right? So if I did this, bone broth benefits, you'll see here, right, this and that are the same. Even though this says bone broth and this says bone broth benefits, this is what the user is actually finding. You'll see here, Healthline, this one's the same as what you see here. And then you'll see here, this kettle and fire is what you see there. So again, 3 results from bone broth come from bone broth benefits. You'll see here, this one says how to make, and so does that. So what if we looked at how to make bone broth like this? You'll see here, right, this hopefully in this kitchen, these 2 then come from how to make. So again, right, by dissecting then where the users are actually finding what they need, you can see here Google doesn't care about keywords anymore or monthly search volume. It just wants to know whether or not the result is delivering what the user wants. So search intent is way more important than keywords, because Google is understanding searcher journeys a lot better. Search intent with little to no monthly search volume can and will rank for head topics if you understand what the correct ones are, right? Single target content is better than topic clusters. Topic clusters are normally the X 101. What is X? Everything you need to know about X. If you're searching for how to get rid of pimples and clicked on Ultimate Guide to Getting Rid of Pimples, and most topic clusters will start with, what is a pimple, right? What would you do? You probably bounce. You want to know how to get rid of pimples as quickly as possible. So identify and create content around search intent that users actually care about for the topics that you're targeting. That then is how SEO works in 2020, right? To recap, technical SEO, negative factors. If you got your technical SEO to amazingness, right, to just completely good, you're starting at a 0, right? What Google wants is to serve content that meets the needs of the searcher. So that gets you to 0, presumably. And then you have subject matter authority and backlinks. Backlinks is how relevant they are. Subject matter authority is how your content that you've already produced around the subject matter is doing. That gets you initially ranked. Over time, you then move up or down in the search results based on your content's ability to serve the needs of the